Hello, I hope you are having a good day. And if you are not having a good day, then it's okay. It's really okay to feel bad as human as we are. But I hope you will be okay as soon as possible. So, welcome again to our lecture video about communication ethics. So, communication ethics is one of the topics in purposive communication, and this is very important since uh, purposive communication is expected to equip students with oral and written communication skills, and proficiency in both oral and written communication skills is very impossible without observing communication ethics. So in this lecture video, we will be looking at the fundamentals of ethical communication, its significance, and characteristics. So as an overview, ethics are moral values of good conduct that guide one's actions. So take note of this, guide one's actions. It means it will tell you what is right and what is wrong. Even our intuition, as human as we are, we have our intuitive sense that will tell us which is right and which is wrong. And we are really encouraged to choose what is right, to do things right, do it now, do it all for God's glory. So creates the sort of person that we are. Our ethical values will really serve as our personal identity. So people would know if we are delinquent, people would know if we are a people of value. So all thinking individuals constantly evaluate the words. So I'm referring only to thinking individuals, meaning not all people will do this. So if you consider yourself to be thinking individuals, then do the same. So all thinking individuals constantly evaluate the words they let out of their mouths, aiming for integrity in their language habits. So if you are doubtful with the words that you are about to relay, or if you are doubtful with the information, or if you don't have enough information to give, then better not give an information. So you have to think twice. Will this information be beneficial to my receiver or to the person I am communicating with? Like you just want to talk about other lives just to make your communication enticing. So would that make any good to both of you as the communicators in the communication process? If it does not bring any good to you, then better not talk about it. So that's ethics. So communication ethics in this lecture video will be concerned primarily with human communication mediated by communication technologies from print to radio, television, and other advanced electronic media. So this is very timely since nowadays most digital natives, or what we call as netizens, are becoming more aggressive keyboard warriors. Perhaps the absence of face to face communication is giving them enough courage to not observe or to be tactless in communicating. Because unlike in face to face communication, there is less confidence to be tactless. So that's why this is primarily concern with human communication mediated by technologies. So this is also referring to the communication in mass, no, mass communication or journalism. So this is a very common problem nowadays, that some people would not observe ethical communication for the sake of making the communication or the show, TV show, for example, more enticing, or even newspapers sometimes titles of news nowadays are just clickbaits. So in order for the netizens to click the news, they will use a title which is exaggerated or not appropriate anymore, beyond ethical standards, just to gain the click of the netizens. Okay, so why is ethical communication very important? So it enhances human worth and dignity by fostering truthfulness, fairness, responsibility, personal integrity, and respect for self and others. So if you want to be respected, then respect others. Tell what is true and be fair with your way of sending a message or sending an information, and you must remain liable to whatever information you are trying to relay. That's a responsibility in order for you to maintain your personal integrity, because trust is the foundation of any forms of relationship. And once the people would lose their trust in you, then it is very impossible for you to become an effective communicator, because your listeners or your readers will no longer be engaged to you, since you broke their trust to you. So in order for us to build trust between our listener, our reader, there must be a maintenance in our personal integrity. So once you don't inflict harm to others, or once you are having good relationships with other because you know how to drive your communication, then there would be a peace of mind in you, and for sure you will be living a happier life. So that will really boost your human worth and your well-being in general. So you will never be sick, you will never be emotionally sick, because you are not bothered, you are not guilty with something that you have misled people, or any kinds of harm that you have inflicted to others. So that's why unethical communication threatens the quality of all communication, and consequently the well-being of individuals and society in which we live. Of course, if you don't do ethical communication standards, or if you don't observe ethical communication standards, you are so unethical, then people would be mad at you, people would lose their trust in you. And since communication is really the bridge, it connects us. So if it is not used well, or if it is being abused, then communication will also break us apart. So your well-being will be affected, you might become emotionally sick, and you will be um, outcasted by the people you are previously communicating. So, and the society in which we live, just like in our society, if people know you as a radyo baklay or a chismosa, the tendency is people will avoid you. That's the point in the society. So in also in communication mediated with technology, if that reporter is known to be a biased reporter, then he is losing the trust of the people. So people would not be engaging to him anymore. So like that. So what are the characteristics of ethical communication then? So I will be giving you 4 ethical characteristics of ethical communication. I mean 4 characteristics of ethical communication. So first, it must be relevant. Second, it must be true. Third, it must be sincere. And fourth, it must be fair. So these are actually self-explanatory. When you say relevant, it is bringing good to others. So will this information brings Will this information bring good to us? So if does, or if it only harms us, then I would rather not say it. So just like disclosing someone's personal information, so if it does not bring any good to you, then better not disclose that information, because once the person who owns that information will discover or will know that you have disclosed the entrusted secret to you, then probably your relationship will really be ruined, or you will be disconnected from that person. So it must be relevant for journalists. They must only provide informations that are useful for the people, or that will help the people, or that will raise awareness on the people. So it must also be true. So news organizations uphold the social responsibility of reporting news with integrity. So there is a social contract theory by Socrates, Hobbes, and Locke that contended or argued that there is an unwritten agreement between people to uphold social responsibility, or to deliver what is true, deliver nothing but the truth. So that's a social contract theory. So this is very self-explanatory, nothing but the truth. So sincere, it means that mm, it is not being altered just to make you pleasant, or just to make you befriended with the person you are communicating with. So Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics asserts that virtue is a state between the extremes of excess or deficiency, meaning it's balance. So it is between extremes, not less or not more. Walang labis, walang kulang. So in communicating, there must be no language of discrimination and no language of exaggeration. So it is between the means. So the same in journalism, the information must not be altered, must not be exaggerated just for you to gain the clicks of the netizens. So the same also in our society, you sometimes tend to disclose the personal information of your neighbor just to entice the person you are communicating with, and you try to alter the information your for your conversation to become more interesting. And yeah, chismis is really enticing because we love to talk about other people. So we try to alter the information, we eliminate the good, and we just say what is bad about that person. So that's why no matter how good we are, we always have bad stories uh, for other people, and people would really love to talk about the bad stories instead of talking about the good. But as of now, I myself is really trying to lift other people, and see the good in every person. So that itself also is contributing to my personal well-being. So once I am lifting other people, it is also like lifting myself, because I if I will do, or if I will inflict harm to others, I will also be thinking that others are also inflicting harm to me, or others are also talking about me when I'm not around. So if you are talking about the personal lives of others while they are not around, then the tendency is that you will also be thinking that they are also doing that when you are not around. So the mindset or the thinking patterns that you have is already toxic, and that eventually will destroy your well-being. So I am encouraging you to really think positive and to live other people instead of ruining them, because letting other people shine will not make your candle shine less. So that's sincerity, no exaggeration, no discrimination, just give what is true. But if you think that the truth will not bring any good, like, yeah, it's true that your neighbor is impregnated by an unknown guy, so that's true, but you really have the right to disclose that information to other people. So not all true information are meant to be relayed. So it is a matter of a balance. So that's still part of the ethical communication standards. Just try to decipher which is right and which is wrong. So in communication also, we need to be fair, especially in journalism. So there must be no bias. The information that we will be giving should not be based on our personal emotions or our personal bias. So for example, you are a journalist and our national leaders are having a lot of accomplishments, good accomplishments, but you as a journalist is not a fan or not a personal supporter of that national leader or that group of national leaders, then do not do not be tempted to not inform the people about their good accomplishments just because you are not a supporter of that national leaders. So as a journalist, as you are, remain into your responsibility to inform the people or to flex the good deeds or the good accomplishments of our national leaders, no matter if you are against the government or no matter if the law implemented by the government is against you. So that one, there must be no bias. Or even in our society, you must tell the truth. For example, if your friend is subjected to investigation because he committed a crime, even if he is your friend, you must tell it to the policeman in order for you in order also for your friend's mistake to be rectified, because once you tolerate your friend a friend because he is your friend, then you are no longer having a fair way of communicating. So just be fair, be relevant, be true, be sincere, and be fair. So that's ethical. So in general, here the bottom line is just choose or just do what is right and avoid what's wrong, so unless if it really brings the good of the majority, because there are wrong things that are ought to be done for public interest, just like the disclosing of the conversation of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo's Hello Garci. So disclosing that conversation is against to the privacy of the president, but disclosing will help or will be important for public interest, then still that's good. So just choose the lesser evil. So that's the key. Just choose the lesser evil. So next, I will be giving you the three ethical dilemmas in communication. First, the plagiarism. Second is the selective misquoting. Third is the distorting of visuals. So the plagiarism is, I guess, very familiar to you. This is defined as the act of presenting another author's work and claiming it to be your own. Like you will be doing your thesis and you need to borrow the contention, the argument, the findings of other researchers in order for it to support your claim in your own research, or in order uh, for you to have a strong claim in your findings for your research, then you have to cite the original owner of that idea or of that argument. So how to cite is, of course, just enclose it in a parenthesis, then put the family name of the author and the year it is being published. That's for EPA citation. But if you will use MLA citation, just the author and the page of the journal, no, that you have, where you retrieve that idea. So that's plagiarism. So once you will have your thesis as a requirement for your graduation, you will be subjected to plagiarism test or Turnitin test. So once you pass that test, then your thesis is already approved for book binding or publishing. So that's how important ethical communication is in your academic endeavors. So, number two is selective misquoting. This is deliberately misrepresenting and altering the meaning of someone's work by taking it out of context. So, this is very common in social media where other netizens would just clip a certain statement from the entire speech, or just get a very short statement from the entire speech and bring it outside of the context, especially if uh, it is indicated in, or it is associated or attached to, or the right term, captioned, it is captioned to an inappropriate photo. So for example, like Harry Rocky is a very hot, no, but it's very hot in social media. There are a lot of bashers, so they would just try to misquote Harry Rocky, just get a part of his speech and then put the inappropriate image in order to mislead the public. So that is called black propaganda. So in order for the netizen to mislead the people, or even just to gain likes, some of the netizens actually are only after for millions of likes. So even if um, they already violated the ethics of communication. So that's selective misquoting. It's altering the information or taking it out of the context. Number three is distorting visuals. This is very common in menus in the restaurant, where you see a burger, for example, which is very big in the picture. And then when your order is already delivered, you'll see how small it is compared to the picture in the menu. That's a violation to the ethics of communication, because again, the people is being misled, being deceived in order for the customer to really buy that burger in for that certain price. So the customer might say, yeah, I guess it's just sold it for this very high price because the burger is too big. So but this point but unfortunately, once the burger is already on the table, the customer might be disappointed because the price he is paying is not really uh, equated with the burger being served. So that's only intended to bait the customer. So that is distorting visuals. One example also is the editing of pictures in social media, like changing the face or editing the face of Ivana to the face of Manny Pacquiao. Like the output is the body is Ivana and the face is Manny Pacquiao for the sake of fun. And that is really against ethical communication, a violation to the ethics of communication. So I suggest, as we are talking here about ethics of communication, you boycott that kind of memes, because once Facebook will be able to detect that you are interested with that kind of memes, then it will be flooding in your wall. Many similar memes will be flooding into your wall, and people would see you as interested to, or people would see you as a supporter of that kind of memes, and that will really serve as your identity. People might perceive you as disrespectful also, because you love people who are disrespecting other people. So that kind of memes is really trying to promote disrespect in social media. For sure, you yourself would not want to be to be a subject of fun in social media. So if you don't want others to do that to you, then don't support that kind of memes. So the big concept here is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So how you wanted to be treated, then treat people that way also. So that's the bottom line here. So before I have to end this lecture video, let me share to you this thought, that a lifestyle characterized by complete lack of ethical behavior would be so antisocial that it might result in imprisonment or social outrecism. So this is according to Pfeiffer and Forsberg in 1993. Yes, especially if you committed the case of plagiarism, then you are violating the intellect, or you are stealing the intellectual property of the person. Or if you are trying to alter the information just to ruin other people, then it might really contribute to the the ostracism, or you will be outcasted by the people because they will not like you anymore, because they lose their trust in you. So in order for you to have a happy life, then be ethical, observe ethical standards of communication, so that we will be happy. So as human, as we are very prone to mistakes. We are always, or almost all of the time, tempted to judge others, or we are tempted to alter personal information of others for us to be appealing to the person that we are communicating with. Then from now on, after listening to this lecture video together, we will strive to be a better person, to be more ethical person, and to think, or to choose, or to do what is right, and do it all for God's glory. Thank you for listening to this lecture video. And if you like this lecture video, just click the like button below. And if you have not subscribed yet, then I encourage you to subscribe, so you may also be updated with my future videos. And you may also check my past videos, or the videos I uploaded in the previous days. So goodbye and keep learning.